When Erasure started, it was originally intended that Andy should just sing my songs. So actually he was employed by me, really, just to sing the songs. But as the relationship developed, you know, Andy started contributing towards the songs. And now we're kind of a 50-50 team, you know. There wasn't really, like a pulling of the strings kind of situation, you know. We really didn't know how we were going to get on at first, you know. We'd only just met, you know, an audition, so we had no idea how the thing would develop. But it took a while for us to get to know each other and understand each other. The main difference between Yazoo and Erasure is the fact that the partners get on a lot better. You know, in Yazoo there was a lot of tension and there were kind of many conflicts of interests and differences of opinion. Whereas with Andy I found someone that I can relate to much easier, and you know, we share the same kind of views about things and about music, so it's a much more workable relationship. There was just a little too much tension with Yazoo.
Someone at the door, I hear voices in my head. It seems things aren't the way they ought to be. Who needs love like that? Who needs love like that?
But when Erasure had their first album out, we spent about a year recording it and messing about, really. And then we didn't sell any singles, didn't have any kind of top 40 success. So we decided to start to play live as much as we could. So we were playing universities, mainly, to bar staff, or to maybe a couple of other people, you know. And although it was kind of a bit disheartening, we were still so enthusiastic about what we were doing. You know, it made us more determined, I think. And kind of ultimately, I think it's kind of pulled myself and Andy closer together, you know, because we had to kind of struggle a bit, you know. We had to travel in back to transit vans and stuff, you know, and I think it's made us more, made us accept the situation as it is now far easier, you know. We're not like up in the clouds somewhere.
Too blind to see, oh love of my heart, why leave me alone? I'm falling apart, no good on my own. Oh l'amour broke my heart, and now I'm aching for you. Mon amour, what's a boy in love supposed to do?
Well, when we work in the studio, as I say, there's just two of us. I do all the music, Andy does all the singing. And for us, it's well, for me, I mean, I like that way because there's more satisfaction involved, you know. I don't have to say it at the drum roll, I don't like that feel there, I don't like that chord there, you know, I can just change it myself if I don't like it. And at the end of the day, you know, you hear your record and it's just you on it. And it's really satisfying. You haven't got to deal with other people's egos. I can't sing and Andy can't play the computer, so... Yeah, I don't see myself as a musician at all. I mean, I started off when I was 11 playing violin, which was atrocious. And then I started playing guitar, which got no better. And then I went on to keyboards. And then I discovered sequencers, which actually play keyboards for you. And no, I don't, you know, I can't do all this on the keyboard at 100 miles an hour, but I can do this on a computer much quicker.
Been thinking about you, I just couldn't wait to see. Fling my arms around you, sweet falling ecstasy. Ooh, sometimes the truth is harder than the pain inside. Yeah. Ooh, sometimes it's the broken heart that decides. It's not the way that you.
Well, the image of me twiddling knobs is a true image. That's all I do, actually. It's like a big toy shop in the studio, as far as I'm concerned. And, you know, we use lots of old, kind of different types of equipment, you know, with lots of big knobs and faders on. And I can spend all day just messing about. When a live situation, it's, I think Andy kind of comes to the forefront, you know, because he's a real performer, and he's prepared to jump about and leap about, you know, and do all sorts of extraordinary things to keep the crowd entertained. Whereas I'm content to just stand at the back and, like you say, twiddle a few knobs. Not so many knobs as in the studio. But, I mean, playing live is important to us because, well, it's just it's a part of the job. It's another part of the job, you know. For a start, it's a big ego trip, you know, and it's really testing a different kind of side of the technology because you have to you've got certain limitations when you start programming for live. But it's an exciting thing to do, you know, because the whole thing, we get involved in the whole concept of the show. You know, we'll plan the beginning from the choreography to the lights to the set and everything.
Heart on the inside, the same as any other. Always divided. Someone always has to suffer. We are broken. There's no one left to change it. Is that the way it has to be? Why can't we rearrange it? It doesn't have to be like that. Guess what? Doesn't have to be like that. You wanna guess what? It doesn't have to be like that.
As we've gone on, you know, 4 years of touring, with the venues have gotten bigger and bigger, especially in the UK, but we're still playing clubs in Switzerland and in Holland or places like this, you know, because we don't sell that many records. It's it's a different thing, really. It's a different kind of feeling when you play a big arena. You know, the show has to be much more extravagant, I think, and more of a kind of a theatre production, you know. But we're going to tour again now for this the new album Chorus, and we'll tour again in the next summer. But I think what we're going to try and do is play small theatres this time round in the UK at least. And instead of doing one night or 2 nights at places like Docklands Arena, we'll do 2 weeks at the Hammersmith Odeon or something like this, you know, just for a different feeling. Because obviously when you play big venues you lose the intimacy. And Andy, you know, really communicates with the audience, I think. And in a big arena that's lost.
I can't believe what is happening to me. My head is spinning. The flowers and the trees are encapsulating me, and I go spinning. He was the baby of the class, you know. He really didn't know that 1 and 1 was 2, 2 and 2 are 4. He was the baby of the class, you know. He really didn't know that, really didn't know that. Oh, what a thought, so do we
musicians are snobby. I think that just comes with the job. I don't, you know, it's very hard sometimes not to be kind of snobby because you always think that your music is better than somebody else's, you know. I don't know, I used to be kind of impressed by people that were ultra cool, I suppose, you know, when I was younger, but not anymore. It just comes, I think, as you get older, you know, you start to realise, well, you know, life's too short. Yeah, there's nothing wrong, I don't think, with doing pop TV shows and, you know, pop interviews, really. I think that's where our music comes from. It's like when I see interviews with people and they say, you know, that their music is from the street and, you know, from, it's got a certain, and that gives it, therefore gives it credibility. I know that those people would never mix with anybody in the street. You know, there's certain people, if they didn't look the right part, and they wouldn't go into those clubs, you know, never hear their music, so, you know, there's a lot of bullshit. People are too hip for their own good sometimes.
I try to discover a little something to make me sweeter. Oh baby, refrain from breaking my heart. I'm so in love with you. I'll be forever blue. That you give me no reason why you make me work so hard. That you give me no, that you give me no, that you give me no, that you give me no soul. I hear you calling, oh baby. Give a little respect to
There are certain things, certain kind of sales gimmicks that they use that we don't like at all. No, it's, for instance, it's not videos so much actually, more 12 inches and special 12 inches and extra releases. It's always a con, I think, because you make one record and that's it, that's your product and it's really good and you really like it. And then you have to make 7 other remixes because everybody else is making 7 remixes of their songs, you know, and each one has the same catalogue number, so it counts towards the sales. That's, I think, it's a bit of a cheek, but it is kind of changing now, because in the UK, for instance, they're limiting the amount of formats that you can release, which I think is quite good. It's a shame that, I mean, when 12 inches kind of started happening, you know, 10 years ago, they were made purely for DJs, and they weren't necessarily even extensions of the song. They were just louder, deeper cuts in the vinyl. That was their purpose. And I think it would be nice now if people made 12 inches, not because it was a sales thing, but because artistically they felt the song deserved a 12 inch. We make videos, it's always a pain in the arse, actually, because neither of us like doing them, particularly. It's very hard, I think, when there's just 2 of you to make the video interesting. And you do them purely as a sales prop, and that's it. You know, there's nothing particularly artistic in them, I don't think. And it's always too expensive, you know, ridiculous money. You know, you spend your budget for videos, making 3 videos, is the same as the budget for making an album for 5 months. You know, it doesn't make any sense. So, but it's something you have to come to terms with because you can't necessarily play in all the territories. You know, you can't necessarily go to Yugoslavia. So all we can do is send you a video. But it is just purely sales. Neither of us are budding actors. I want to be in films. You know, we make music. Pop star, you know. I don't own a car, and I haven't got a big mansion anywhere. I live in a flat in Amsterdam. I don't like to go to clubs. You know, the worst thing is going to a club and presenting the big I am, you know, in order to get in for free. You know, I can't stand that. I just want to get turned away. Well, in different territories we're perceived as a different sort of music, you know. In England I think people see us as a family band, you know. And when we play concerts here, then we have all sorts of people come along of different ages. Whereas if we go to some, say Sweden, the audiences are very much younger, and we're more of a teeny type band, you know. In America, they see us as an alternative band. You know, it's very weird and wonderful. I suppose it's just to do with the different mentalities, you know. The recording of the album, we wanted to get a different flavour, and all the albums that we'd recorded previously, we'd recorded in the UK. So we went to see a studio in Toulouse in France, and we were told by the owners there that it would be hot in the winter, and in fact it was freezing cold, you know. So we moved out of Toulouse and then to Hamburg, not for the technical, particularly for the technical kind of qualifications of the studio, because I mean the studio was really good technically, but as you know, there's good studios everywhere. But also for the vibe of the town, you know, because it's a great place to go out at night. There's lots of clubs and bars. You know, just to get a different atmosphere, really, different influences. Our spontaneity, I think, comes in the writing, because it's, you know, it's dependent on how we're feeling, how much we drunk the night before, all these kind of things, you know. But in the studio, it's very calculated, you know, it's worked out, and the sounds are carefully crafted. There's no feeling of trying to get a live feel in the studio, you know. I mean, the album we've just recorded is probably the most unlive record you can imagine.
Ton ist es 22 Uhr, 50 Minuten und 30 Sekunden.